Money is the equivalent of energy. So you can buy energy with your cash. And the significance about that is if you're frugal and take care of your money and keep a balance, then you always have this energy in your bank account, energy in which you can live. However, obviously, if you waste this energy, then you actually interfere with your own survival. So you don't really want to go out and just throw away your money. And so basically, I really want to show you that this is an important insight into the nature of our own health and our biology and the world we create in this regard. That our biological system, the cells, rely on energy. Without energy, there's no life. So fundamentally, you have an energy budget that gives you life. And in fact, in the body, energy is in coins called ATP, molecules that represent units of energy. So in fact, biologists refer to ATP as the coin of the realm.
Spread love, man.
Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive. Today, we are exploring something super interesting. Your personal energy budget.
Oh yeah, energy budgets.
We will be looking at some really fascinating ideas from Bruce Lipton.
Bruce Lipton, okay.
He is a cellular biologist.
Oh, a biologist talking about energy budgets.
Yeah, you might be wondering, what does a biologist have to do with energy budgets?
Yeah, I mean, that's not the first thing that comes to mind.
Well, Lipton actually connects the dots between our thoughts and our actions and energy in a way that, honestly, just might make you rethink where you are spending yours.
Okay, so how does he do that?
Well, what I think is really cool about Lipton's approach is that he takes this complex biological concept and makes it super relatable,
Okay.
but using the idea of money.
Money.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm listening.
So he basically says that energy is like currency. It's how we buy our way through life.
Uh-huh.
So, we use energy for everything.
Yeah.
Working, thinking, even relaxing.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's the fuel that makes all of it happen.
Makes sense.
And just like we are careful not to blow our paycheck on things we don't need.
Right.
We should also be mindful about how we use our energy.
I see where he's going with this.
And Lipton argues that we often waste a ton of this precious resource.
Our energy.
Yeah, without even realizing it.
Interesting.
So let's imagine energy as this limited resource.
Okay.
Like maybe a daily allowance,
I like that.
How do our thoughts and actions fit into that picture?
All right, well, this is where it gets really interesting. So imagine you have a certain amount of energy to spend each day.
Okay.
In every activity.
Uh-huh.
So that's from physical tasks to emotional responses.
Right.
It draws from that pool of energy.
So even something as simple as just worrying about a deadline at work
Oh, yeah.
is like swiping our energy debit card.
Oh, precisely. And Lipton's point is we need to be smart
About
how we allocate that energy.
Mhm.
Because just like with money, we can invest it wisely or we can squander it.
on things that don't really matter.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's talk about some of those energy wasters.
Right.
What kinds of thoughts or behaviors are like just throwing money down the drain?
Well, Lipton calls out negative thinking as one of the biggest energy vampires.
Negative thinking, huh?
Yeah, so worry, fear, dwelling on problems without taking action.
Yeah.
All those things drain our energy without giving us anything positive in return.
It's almost like writing a check to nowhere, right? You're putting out all this effort, but you're not getting any real value back.
Yeah, you're not getting a return on your investment.
And I remember this one quote from Lipton that really hit me. Worry is a form of praying for what you don't want.
Oh, wow. That's good. That is a really powerful way to put it.
Yeah.
Like if we're constantly focusing on what we fear,
Yeah.
we're basically feeding those negative thoughts with our precious energy.
Exactly.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
are. So negative thinking is a big one. But are there other sneaky energy drains we should be aware of?
Absolutely. Think about situations or activities that consistently leave you feeling depleted.
Okay.
So maybe it's certain people who always bring you down.
Oh, yeah, I know the type.
Right.
Right.
Or maybe it's scrolling through social media for hours.
Oh, the doom scrolling.
Yeah. Or getting caught up in pointless arguments online.
Oh, I know that feeling.
Yeah. Getting sucked into those online debates.
They can be a total energy black hole.
Yes, they are.
You come out the other side
Yeah.
feeling exhausted, and nothing's actually been resolved.
Exactly. Recognizing those drains is the first step.
Okay.
The next step is to start making conscious choices
Uh-huh.
to minimize them.
Mm.
So instead of just mindlessly scrolling through social media,
Yeah.
maybe you set a timer
Right.
or you choose to engage with content that actually uplifts you.
It's all about being more intentional with how we're using our limited energy, right?
Yes.
Choosing to invest it in things that actually matter to us.
Right, and that leads us to the flip side.
Which is,
how can we become more energetically frugal
okay,
and start investing our energy wisely?
how do we do that?
Well,
Okay, so we've talked about cutting back on those energy wasters.
right.
But what about putting those energy savings to good use?
Yeah.
How do we shift from being energy drainers to becoming energy investors?
That's the exciting part. Lipton, he encourages us to think about our energy
Okay.
like it's an investment portfolio.
Oh, interesting.
So we want to put our resources into things
Yeah.
that give us the biggest return, things that align with our values,
Okay.
bring us joy,
Right.
and contribute to something larger than ourselves.
I love that analogy. So instead of just focusing on cutting back,
Uh-huh.
it's also about being proactive,
Yeah,
about where we direct that newfound energy.
exactly. It's about asking yourself, what are the things that light me up?
Yeah.
What do I want to create in the world?
Uh-huh.
And then putting your energy into those things.
Yeah. So it's not just about feeling less drained, it's about feeling more energized and fulfilled.
Precisely.
Mm-hmm.
When we invest our energy in things that truly matter to us,
Yeah.
we tap into a different kind of an energy source. It's not about willpower or forcing ourselves to do things we don't enjoy.
Right.
It's about aligning our actions
Yeah.
with our passions.
So it's like the difference between dragging yourself to a job you hate
Yeah.
versus pouring your heart into a project that you love.
That's a great example.
Mm-hmm.
Think about a time when you were completely absorbed in something you were passionate about.
Okay.
You probably lost track of time.
Yeah.
You felt energized.
Uh-huh.
And you were completely present in the moment.
Yeah.
That's the kind of energy we want to cultivate.
It makes sense because when we're engaged in something that resonates with us, it doesn't feel like work.
Right.
It feels like flow.
And that's the key to becoming an energy investor. It's
Yeah.
about shifting from a mindset of, I have to a mindset of, I get to. So instead of viewing tasks as drains on our energy,
Yeah.
we can choose to see them as opportunities to express ourselves,
Okay.
to learn, to grow, to connect with others.
I'm starting to see how this whole energy budget concept can be really empowering.
Yeah.
It's not just about deprivation or self-control.
Right.
It's about making choices
Yes.
that align with our values and bring us closer to the life we want to live.
Exactly. It's about taking ownership of our energy and using it to create a life that is both fulfilling and meaningful.
So let's say someone's listening to this and they're on board with this whole idea of energy management,
Okay.
but they're feeling a bit overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Where do they even start?
Well, I think a great first step is simply to become more aware of your energy patterns.
Okay.
So pay attention to how you feel throughout the day.
All right.
What activities leave you feeling drained?
Mm-hmm.
What activities give you a boost?
It's like keeping a mental energy journal, right?
Exactly. Once you start noticing those patterns,
Okay.
you can start making small adjustments to your daily routine.
Gotcha.
So maybe you realize that checking your email first thing in the morning sends your energy levels plummeting.
Yeah.
So you decide to start your day with something that energizes you,
Yeah.
like a quick meditation or a walk in nature.
That's a great example.
Yeah.
And maybe you notice that spending time with certain people
Oh, yeah.
leaves you feeling drained while other people leave you feeling inspired and uplifted.
Right. You can start being more intentional about who you spend your time with
Mm.
and what activities you choose to engage in. It's about creating an environment that supports your energy rather than depleting it.
It's almost like designing your life around your energy flow, right?
Exactly. And it's not about being perfect
Right.
or never having a bad day.
Yeah.
We all have moments
Mm.
when we feel drained
Yeah,
or overwhelmed.
totally.
The key is to have those tools and strategies in place
Okay.
so that we can quickly course correct and get back to that state of flow.
This is all making a lot of sense to me.
But-
But I think it's also important to acknowledge that life can throw curveballs our way. We can't always control our circumstances or the people we have to interact with.
Oh, for sure.
So what about those situations where we're faced with unavoidable energy drains?
Oh, yeah. Good point.
That's a great point. You know, life definitely throws us those curveballs.
Yeah.
And sometimes we find ourselves in situations that just drain our energy,
For sure.
no matter how hard we try to be positive.
It happens.
So that's where I think it becomes even more important to have a solid energy management strategy, right?
Yeah, I think so.
It's kind of like having like an emergency fund,
Oh, I like that.
but for your energy.
An emergency fund for your energy.
So what would an energy emergency fund look like?
Well,
What are some practical tips for dealing with those unavoidable energy drains?
well, first of all, I think it's about recognizing that, you can't always control the situation.
Right.
But you can control your response to it.
Okay.
Like, you might not be able to avoid a stressful meeting at work.
Ugh, yeah, those are the worst.
Right. But you can choose how you prepare for it
Okay.
and how you manage your energy afterward.
So it's about having those tools in place to help you kind of recover
Yes.
and recharge.
Recover and recharge, yep.
What are some specific strategies that people can use?
One of the most powerful tools is simply being aware of your breath.
Okay, your breath.
When we're stressed or anxious, our breathing tends to become shallow and rapid.
Uh-huh.
But if we can consciously slow down our breath
Okay.
and take some deep belly breaths, it can have an almost instant calming effect on our nervous system.
You know, it's amazing how something as simple as breathing can make such a big difference.
It really is.
Yeah.
Another powerful tool is mindfulness.
Mindfulness.
This can involve anything from, taking a few minutes to meditate
Okay.
to simply paying attention to your senses.
Oh.
The key is to bring your awareness to the present moment
Uh-huh.
and step away from those energy-draining thoughts that keep replaying in your head.
You know, I used to think mindfulness was just for like yogis and gurus.
Yeah.
But the more I learn about it, the more I realize it's actually a really practical tool for managing stress
Yeah.
and staying grounded in the midst of chaos.
Absolutely. It's about training your mind to focus on what's happening right now,
Yeah.
rather than getting caught up in worries about the past or future.
So we've got breathing exercises, mindfulness.
Yes.
Any other go-to strategies for kind of replenishing our energy reserves?
Don't underestimate the power of nature,
Nature. Oh, yeah.
even just a short walk in the park.
Okay.
Or spending a few minutes looking at the trees can have a profound effect on our mood and energy levels.
I totally agree. There's something about being in nature that just feels so restorative.
Yeah. And finally, don't forget the importance of self-care.
Self-care. Uh-huh.
This could be anything from taking a hot bath to reading a good book to spending time with loved ones. The key is to do something that nourishes you
Yeah.
and brings you joy.
It's about making time for those activities that, fill up your energy tank.
Right. Exactly. When we prioritize self-care, we're essentially investing in our own well-being.
Mm-hmm.
And when we feel good, we have more energy to give to the things that matter most to us.
This has been such an eye-opening conversation.
Oh, good. I'm glad.
I feel like I've learned so much about how to be more intentional with my energy.
Also,
And I'm sure our listeners are feeling the same way.
I hope so.
So to our listeners, if you're feeling inspired to take control of your own energy budget,
Yeah.
I encourage you to check out Bruce Lipton's work. His insights are truly transformative. And remember, managing your energy is a journey, not a destination.
Well said.
This is about being kind to yourself, experimenting with different strategies, and finding what works best for you. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the fascinating world of energy management. Until next time.